Part 7. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 61. Chapter 61 Saving People, Second Update. Hearing Ling Chu calling for guards, Mrs. Wang's face turned black and she secretly hated herself for not moving fast enough just now. Seeing what happened was exposed, he turned around and wanted to escape through the toilet window. Wei Feng rushed in and felt ashamed when he saw the woman who fainted on the ground. Without waiting for Ling Chu's instructions, he reached the window in a flash, grabbed Mrs. Wang who had just stepped onto the window, and threw her to the ground. Wei Feng is a martial arts practitioner, so his hand strength is naturally quite strong. Mr. Wang was slapped to the ground by him. Her face was twisted in pain, and her nose and tears immediately burst out. Fell to the ground, Mrs. Wang simply stopped getting up. She stretched out her hand to wipe the tears from her face, patted her thighs and cried loudly. "Girl, Mrs. Zhang and I just wanted to go to the toilet, so why did we offend you? You knocked Mrs. Zhang unconscious, but you also wanted to attack me. This is my family's house. Even if you are dissatisfied that Mrs. Zhang and I are servants and want to share a toilet with you, you can't bully us like this." Ling Chu glanced at her expressionlessly and said coldly, "It's too noisy. Knock her out." Grandma Wang choked with tears. Why is this girl always acting out of common sense? Shouldn't a normal person rush to defend herself at a time like this? As long as she opens her mouth to defend herself, she is confident that with her sharp tongue, she will be able to make her cry. Generally, little girls like this who have never seen much of the world are clumsy and clumsy. When they get angry, they will just turn around and run away without remembering the real thing. As long as they leave this toilet, she and Boss Yao will be safe. It's a pity that Ling Chu didn't follow her ideas. Wei Feng knocked out Mrs. Wang with a single blow of his knife. The toilet suddenly became quiet. Ling Chu didn't say anything. He walked to a corner inside the toilet and waved to Wei Feng and the others, "Come here and pry open this floor." Wei Feng and others felt ashamed that they had believed the words of the two women so easily just now. Hearing Ling Chu's words, he silently stepped forward. "Boss Yao and the others have disguised the floor. If you don't look carefully, it's not easy to find anything strange." But Wei Feng and the others listened to Ling Chu's words, studied it carefully, and soon discovered it. That floor is the entrance to the cellar. Although it is not large, it is very heavy and can only be opened from the outside. Wei Feng and the four grown men worked together to open the heavy floor. The entrance to the cellar is revealed. It was pitch black inside. This cellar is not only deep, but there are no stairs to go down. Ling Chu had no choice but to ask his guards to find torches to light and a rope. Boss Yao and the others felt uneasy when they saw Ling Chu heading towards the toilet with his guards. "Since I haven't seen them back for a long time, I guess the matter may be exposed." So he hinted to Li Pingguang and the others to pretend that they were seriously injured and wanted to go out to see a doctor. "Who is Ning Chuyi?" At a glance, it was clear that although the injuries on their bodies were serious, they were not fatal, and they were not affected at all. Wang Hai was anxious and could not care less about the embarrassment. He even cried and cried to Ning Chui, saying that the pain in his arm was unbearable and that if he didn't go to see a doctor, his hand might become useless. Ning Chui didn't say anything, and just glanced coldly at the guards around him. Without saying a word, the guard knocked Wang Hai unconscious with the handle of his knife. Boss Yao saw that the bitter meat scheme was not working, so he hinted that Li Pingguang should give Ning Chui money. Li Pingguang couldn't care less about his heartache. He took out all the banknotes on his body and held them in front of Ning Chui with a smile on his face. How could Ning Chui be bribed by him? Seeing that the bribe could not be obtained, Boss Yao's face became extremely ugly. This commander of the Imperial Guard is indeed as cold-blooded and ruthless as the rumors say. If it falls into their hands, they may never survive. At this point, I'm afraid I won't be able to take care of that batch of goods only by working hard, maybe you can still make a way out. Boss Yao winked at the people around him, hinting that everyone should work together to find a way out. This group of people embarked on such a road and had long expected that such a day would come. Received the hint from Boss Yao and knew that there would be no way to survive if he didn't fight hard. He took out the dagger hidden on his body and slashed at the guards around him without saying a word, trying to find a way out. Although this group of people are good at boxing and kicking, they can't compare to the guards around Ning Chui. Just a few rounds and he was knocked down. The assassin in black happened to wake up during the fight. When he saw the scene in front of him, he was so frightened that he quickly closed his eyes and pretended to be dead. Ning Chui glanced at them expressionlessly, and asked the guards to tie Boss Yao and the assassin together, leaving some guards to monitor, while he took 2 guards to find Ling Chu. Miss Ling, what's in this cellar? Ning Chui entered the toilet and happened to see the guard holding a torch and preparing to go down to the cellar. Ling Chu turned to look at him and said softly, "Human." Ning Chui was stunned. He really didn't expect this answer. Wei Feng and the other guards looked even more stunned. Their first reaction was that it was impossible. Is there anyone in this cellar? How can that be possible? This cellar is located in a place such as a latrine. They thought that even if it was not silver, it should be something valuable. I didn't expect it to be a human being. But who would be hidden in such a hidden place? Ling Chu smelled an unpleasant smell coming from the cellar entrance, raised his hand and made a seal to block his sense of smell. Boss Yao hid people at the bottom of the cellar. The girls had to eat, drink, and defecate inside. You don't need to think about the smell inside to know how bad it is. There are no stairs in the cellar, so you can only hang down with ropes. Ning Chui saw her tying the rope to her body, frowned and said, "Miss Ling, you stay up there and let the guards go down and bring the person up." He was really worried that she wouldn't be able to bear this frail body. Ling Chu knew that Ning Chui had good intentions, but she had to go down. She had to go in and see if there was anything wrong with those girls. If you are disheveled or something, it is not easy for these guards to see you. Ning Chui saw her persistence and had no choice but to agree. Several guards pulled the rope and slowly put Ling Chu into the cellar. Ling Chu waited until his feet touched the ground before untying the rope, holding a torch and walking slowly inside. The girl in the cellar heard the commotion and originally looked frightened. But when she saw an unknown girl coming in, she felt uneasy. Lu Xiangju recognized Ling Chu immediately and wanted to pounce on her with excitement. But her hands and feet were tied, and a piece of cloth was stuffed in her mouth, so she could only struggle. When Gurdjieff's ghost saw his daughter, he wanted to hug her and comfort her, but unfortunately he could only watch his soul pass through her daughter's body. Although I can't touch it, the worries in my heart have dissipated. She knew that her daughter was saved. Ling Chu took a glance and found that there were 12 little girls including Lu Xiangju. I felt relieved when I saw that although their hands and feet were bound, their mouths were stuffed with cloth, and their faces were frightened, their clothes were still neat. Raise your voice and call Wei Feng and the others down to help. Wei Feng led people down to the cellar with torches, and was stunned to see the situation inside. It's the end of the month, please vote. End of this chapter. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 62. Miss Ling, why are there so many little girls here? Wei Feng looked surprised when he saw a dozen little girls in the cellar. He originally thought that there was only Gurdjieff's daughter in the cellar. Ning Chui, who came in behind, frowned. Did the group of people outside get these little girls? Ling Chu untied the little girls and said, "Yes, these little girls were trafficked by the traffickers outside and are about to be transported out of Beijing and sold." Seeing those little girls huddled in a pile with frightened expressions, Ling Chu comforted them softly, "Don't be afraid, we are here to save you." Perhaps after seeing Lu Xiangju untied and following Ling Chu closely, With an expression of trust in her, the little girl slowly calmed down. Ling Chu saw that although they were tense but not making a fuss, he asked the guards to take the little girls out of the cellar. After leaving the cellar and seeing the long-lost sunlight, the little girls wiped away their tears excitedly, knelt down in front of Ling Chu and Ning Chui, and kowtowed. Ding! Congratulations on the successful rescue of the host and the successful completion of the mission. Reward, 12 merits and 120 taels of silver. With the gratitude of those little girls, the system's reward notification sounded in Ling Chu's mind. Seeing those merits and money, Ling Chu was in a good mood, and now her life was more stable. As long as she continues to accumulate merit and earn money to buy health medicines, I believe her life will not die easily again. Seeing the rescued little girls, Boss Yao and others turned pale. Master Ning, these little girls and this group of traffickers will be left to you to deal with. Hearing Ling Chu's words, Boss Yao knelt down towards Ning Chui. Sir, this is unfair. We are not human traffickers, we are serious businessmen. Yes, 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 sir, we are in the cloth business, but we are not involved in human trafficking. Wei Feng sneered, then where do these little girls come from? We don't know this either. We rented this house, but we didn't know there were so many little girls hiding in it. Boss Yao forced himself to calm down. The government also pays attention to evidence when deciding a case. As long as they grit their teeth and refuse to admit it, you can't do anything to them. Unexpectedly, this group of people still want to deny it until now. Ling Chu sneered, do you think there's nothing you can do without evidence? Boss Yao rolled his eyes and said, girl, we are indeed unjust. We are innocent businessmen and have never done anything harmful to nature. We came to the capital to buy some cloth and sell it in other state capitals. If you don't believe it, you can go into the house and have a look. All the cloth we brought in is inside the house. Isn't it evidence? Considering that this group of traffickers had given her so many merits, she didn't mind spending some time to find out the evidence and convince them. Okay, I was just going to go into the house and search it. Ling Chu wanted to search the house, but Boss Yao was not worried. He did not lie. In order to deceive others, on the surface they were indeed cloth businessmen, and the house was filled with goods imported from the cloth shop. Boss Yao thought he had no flaws, but Li Pingguang felt uneasy. He always felt that this girl was a bit evil. Ling Chu took Wei Feng and a few guards and went straight to the side room where the cloth was kept. You move all these cloths out. Boss Yao and the others have abducted and trafficked so many little girls, and those who were killed, even if they are not sentenced to death, will be exiled to the bitter cold borderland. The money and other property they earned through unscrupulous means will naturally be confiscated. After moving the cloth, Ling Chu led his guards to search each room. Move this food box away. There's still that baggage. Take away the raincoat and bamboo hat hanging on the wall. Don't forget the saddle. Don't miss that oil paper umbrella in the corner. Ling Chu gave some instructions, only to find Wei Feng and several guards standing aside with frowns on their faces. Seeing her looking over, Wei Feng couldn't help but said, Miss Ling, these rags are not worth anything at all. Ling Chu didn't wait for him to finish, and interrupted him with a smile, wrong, these are all good things. The guards were really speechless. They had just opened the food box and looked at it. There were only a few snacks in it, and the bag contained a few changes of clothes. Bow hats, raincoats, and oil paper umbrellas are just ordinary objects, so they are not good things. Wei Feng, on the other hand, thought of Ling Chu's abilities and was moved. Without saying anything more, he led his guards forward and moved all the things Ling Chu pointed out to the yard. Boss Yao and the others changed their expressions when they saw the things they had moved out. Ning Chui looked down at the pile of miscellaneous things, raised his eyebrows, and looked at Ling Chu in confusion. Ling Chu didn't look at him, turned around and asked Boss Yao and the others, whose do these things belong to? The scene was silent, no one spoke. No one spoke. Ling Chu was not in a hurry and said slowly, no one said anything. It seems that no one wants them. In this case, let's burn them all. Ling Chu took out a fire folder and pointed at the oil paper umbrella first. Seeing that she was really about to burn, Wang Hai blurted out in a hurry, wait a minute, that umbrella is mine. Ling Chu paused and said, so it's yours, so are the others also yours? Wang Hai shook his head, only that umbrella belonged to him. Ling Chu waited and saw that no one else spoke, nor was he annoyed. The fire in his hand was turned and pointed towards the koi raincoat. Li Pingguang's expression changed, and finally he said bravely, Miss Ling, both the koi raincoat and the bamboo hat belong to me. Boss Yao looked gloomy, the food box and the saddle are mine. Po Zhejiang, that baggage is mine. Although these people already had a bad premonition in their hearts, they still held on to luck. Ling Chu smiled and said, since these things all belong to their owners, I won't burn them. Speaking, he blew out the fire stick and put it back in his sleeve pocket. Boss Yao and the others secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Ling Chu suddenly said, Wei Feng, take down the food box. Boss Yao's expression changed drastically. He broke free from the rope and wanted to rush over and the food box back. Ning Chui waved his hand, and two guards immediately stepped forward to twist him. Wei Feng stepped forward and, under Ling Chu's guidance, found a ledger from the mezzanine at the bottom of the food box. This account book belongs to Boss Yao. It records the girls who were abducted and trafficked, where they were sold, their worth, and the division of the spoils with the following people. Ning Chui flipped through the ledger. Although he didn't say anything, he looked at Boss Yao as if he were looking at a dead person. Ling Chu glanced at him and asked Wei Feng to continue dismantling it. There was no account book next, but I rummaged through the handle of the oil paper umbrella, the raincoat, the bamboo hat, and the saddle to find a pile of banknotes wrapped tightly in oil paper. The guards looked at Ling Chu from suspicion to admiration. This Miss Ling is indeed very capable. To them, those koi raincoats and bamboo hats are just a pile of rags, but Miss Ling was able to find so many banknotes and account books from these rags. Served at the third watch. Ling Chu, I know where the votes in your hands are hidden. Do you vote them out yourself, or do you want me to check them? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 63. After searching the pile of things, Ling Chu asked the guards to search the bodies of Boss Yao and others. In addition to more than 100 taels of scattered silver found on their bodies, a large number of silver notes were also found from the layers of their clothes, the solace of their shoes, and the hollow silver bracelets worn by the two women. After a cursory look, the banknotes found amounted to about 60,000 taels. Of course, not all of this money comes from trafficking. In order to conceal their identity as human traffickers, Boss Yao and the others would also do some business of buying low and selling high. The account books were found and the evidence is conclusive. Boss Yao is the first offender and will be sentenced to death by hanging according to law. The fate of others was not much better, either imprisoned or sentenced to exile in the bitter cold border. The reason why Ling Chu asked the guards to search out all the banknotes of Boss Yao and others was because he didn't want them to be searched by the jailers after they entered the prison. He also had other plans. Master Ning, this group of traffickers has kidnapped and sold many little girls over the years and harmed many families. Some girls even resisted and escaped, but were caught and beaten to death by them. With these banknotes, can you please discuss with the government and use part of them to compensate the victims? Ning Chui glanced at her and said without rejecting, okay. Ling Chu smiled and said, if you don't bother me with anything, I'll leave these little girls and traffickers to the adults. Ning Chui raised her eyebrows. Why do you want to give me such a credit for nothing? The big tree attracts the wind. Ling Chu just wanted to keep a low profile and earn money and extend his life. He did not want to attract too much attention from others. She handed these rescued little girls and the group of traffickers to Ning Chui. The emperor would probably praise him more because he solved the case. Mr. Ning accepted the sentiment, and if she asked for anything in the future, he would give her some help. But of course these thoughts will not be known to Mr. Ning. Ling Chu smiled and said, I am a weak woman and it is not easy for me to be exposed. Besides, after rescuing these little girls, I have to send them home safely one by one. This kind of thing is still it's better to leave it to the government. After a pause, Ling Chu said quietly, Your Excellency, you also know that my family can't even afford half a tael of silver now. If I send these girls home, I have to be responsible for their food, accommodation, and transportation expenses along the way. But I don't have any money. Really, it's because of the inability to do so. Ning Chui twitched the corner of his mouth and suddenly had a headache. He was going to block him with the matter of raiding the Shangshu mansion when he got the chance. Wei Feng. Exist. Take all the people to Dali Temple and hand them over to the minister of Dali Temple. He glanced at that pitiful little face, paused, and added, remember to collect the silver reward and give it to Miss Ling. Yes. Wei Feng had a smile on his face and was not dissatisfied at all about giving the silver reward to Ling Chu. This girl Ling is simply a blessing to their adults. Lately, many little girls have been lost in the capital and surrounding villages. After their families could not find them, they all reported to Dali Temple. But after half a month of searching at Dali Temple, they still had no clue, and more people were missing. The minister of Dali Temple had no choice but to beg in front of the emperor. The emperor just gave them an order yesterday, asking Jin Yiwei to be responsible for investigating this case. Unexpectedly, before they had time to investigate, Miss Ling had already helped them solve the case today. Sir Ning, what's the silver reward? Many girls have been lost in Kyoto recently, causing panic. In order to solve the case, Dali Temple has given out 1,000 taels of silver as a reward. If anyone provides effective clues, you can get the reward. Ling Chu was surprised. He didn't expect that the government would be so generous in order to solve the case and arrest people. You want to give me all the 1,000 taels. You have caught all the human traffickers, so the reward will naturally belong to you. That's a shame, these little girls and the traffickers are both causing trouble to the adults. The reward should be divided into half of the rewards. Wei Feng on the side said quickly, we adults are not short of money. Besides, the girl gave all the credit for this case to us adults. We adults have already taken advantage of the girl. The veins on Ning Chui's forehead jumped, and she wanted to kick Wei Feng away. For fear of Ling Chu being angry, Ning Chui had no choice but to say as if nothing had happened, just take the reward, you deserve it. After saying this, Ning Chui was ready to ask the guards to take the traffickers and the rescued girls to Dali Temple. When Ling Chu saw this, he quickly stepped forward and said, Master Ning, Lu Xiangju is the maid I bought. I can just take her away by myself. There is no need to send her to Dali Temple. Lu Xiangju wiped away her tears and begged Ling Chu, Miss Ling, can I go home and see my mother first? Ling Chu glanced at Ji's puppet soul next to him and sighed, your father wanted to sell your mother to Malu of the East Street Winery. Your mother didn't want to be humiliated and committed suicide. I can find you, it's your mother. The ghost found me and begged me to save you. Your mother has entrusted you to me. From now on, you can follow me. Lu Xiangju burst into tears. Next to him, a little girl about 12 years old suddenly rushed out and knelt down towards Ling Chu. Girl, please show your kindness and let me be your maid. My parents are gone. In order to seize the property my father left me, my second uncle and my aunt sold me to Boss Yao. I don't want to go back anymore. My second uncle will definitely sell me after I go back. Ling Chu asked about it and found out that the girl's parents were dead and she had no other reliable relatives, so he had no choice but to take her in. As the commander of the Jinyi guards, Ning Chui has an evil aura about him, and those puppet souls dare not approach him at all. Seeing him leaving with the group of traffickers and the 10 little girls, the ghosts who were watching from a distance finally floated over. Without saying a word, he knelt down and kowtowed to Ling Chu. "Thank you very much, miss, for catching Boss Yao and the others and avenging our great revenge." These puppet souls are very grateful to Ling Chu. They were killed by Boss Yao. Although they have been following him, they have no way to take revenge. If this girl hadn't helped them, there's no telling when the big revenge would be avenged. Ling Chu did not refuse and accepted their courtesy. She helped these puppet souls, and the system rewarded them with another wave of merit. Ling Chu was in a good mood. He took out the container and collected all the puppet souls. He planned to help them raise their souls and then send them away. After the matter was over, Ling Chu took Lu Xiangju and Xiaji, who had just been rescued, back to his house. "Elder girl, who are these 2 little girls?" Ling Chu glanced at the second lady and said without hiding anything, "I bought the maid." Hearing that it was a maid, the second lady immediately exploded, "Miss, how can you buy someone? How can the house have money to support these idle people now?" Lu Xiangju and Xiaji did not expect to encounter such a thing when they followed Ling Chu back home for the first time. They looked at her uneasily, fearing that they would be kicked out and live on the street. Ling Chu's voice was light and he said, "My maid, I will provide you with your monthly payment, so I don't need to worry about you." The second lady choked, but could not refute. Mrs. Tai's eyes were dim. How come she didn't realize that this second daughter-in-law was so stupid? Thanks to 140426171350053, Shadow, 201910231032551573, holding an umbrella and waiting for people to return, Blue Melancholy 175, UNU, UN1, Bingling, Shuiyuahe, National 114,514 Level Protected Waste, Fushengling, Heartbeat on the left, Flowing Moonlight, Wind Blowing Snow, Huiyatu. Add, 202303061958333531, Blackboy, Zui Feng, Wana Yan Yu. The votes of book friends such as Xiao Xiao Ruier and Alien Cat. Thanks for your support. May your voting hands be the hands that make you rich. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 64. Chapter 64 Dissatisfaction. Ling Chu, Sister Chu is getting older, and she should have someone by her side to take care of her. The second madam was astonished. The eldest girl had been fostered in a Taoist temple, and the madam never mentioned her. It was as if there was no such person in the house. It can be seen that he does not value this eldest granddaughter. What's more, as soon as the eldest girl came back, something happened in the mansion. The whole family was imprisoned and even demoted to common people by the minister's mansion. Although the Mrs. Tai didn't say anything, based on her understanding of the Mrs. Tai, she must have been very dissatisfied with the eldest lady's fate. But I don't know why today is unusual. The house could hardly afford food, but they actually agreed to her raising 2 maids. These elders don't have maids and women around them, so why can the eldest girl have 2? The second lady looked unhappy and said, "Madam, we can hardly open the pot in the house. The little rice and noodles are not enough for us to eat. Now we have to raise 2 maids. In a few days, everyone will have to drink from the northwest wind." Ling Hao was sitting quietly drinking tea, but when he saw Ling Chu frowning, he couldn't help but feel guilty. Second aunt, the eldest sister has been weak since she was a child. She used to live in a Taoist temple and could only be taken care of by Master Xian Yi. Now that she has returned home, there is always someone around to take care of her. I took on some work at the bookstore today. These two I will be responsible for the maid's monthly payment. Originally, Ling Hao didn't want to get involved in these internal affairs. But this eldest sister grew up in a Taoist temple without even a single relative around her, while he and his other brothers and sisters had a fine life since childhood, so they really owed a lot to the sister. I used to live in a Taoist temple and couldn't take care of her. But now that he is by his side, as the eldest brother, he must always find a way to make up for this biological sister. Ling Chu glanced at this eldest brother in surprise. She really didn't expect that he would help her raise a maid. Although he was moved in his heart, Ling Chu did not want to accept it. "Brother, you should keep your money and spend it yourself. I will support my maid by myself." "Why, are you worried that my eldest brother doesn't have enough money?" "Don't worry, in addition to copying books for bookstores, I can also write letters for others." Ms. Dong was standing aside, frowning. "Brother Hao, why did you take the job yourself without consulting me? Copying books and writing letters is the most nerve-wracking. How can your body and bones bear it?" Ms. Tai also had a worried look on her face. "Brother Hao, your mother is right, your body and bones can't bear it, so you should quit your job at the bookstore." Ling Hao knew that they were worried about his health, but now there was no income in the house. "There are so many people in the house, we can't just rely on my eldest sister to support them." "Grandma, mother, don't worry, I'm sensible. I've been here for so many years, nothing will happen to me." Seeing that Ms. Tai was worried, Aunt Wen smiled and said, "As the eldest girl has grown hair, she should have a maid by her side to wait on her. If we meet her later, she can be a dowry maid." The eldest young master is still sensible and knows how to feel sorry for the eldest girl. Let Brother Wei also copy books with his elder brother, so that he can learn what brotherhood is. Seeing that Ling Hao was not dissatisfied, Ms. Tai frowned and said to Ling Wei, "Since none of you can go to the academy, then copy the books with your elder brother and help him share some of the burden." The second madam curled her lips in dissatisfaction, but seeing that all the madams had spoken, she could not object any longer. After glaring at the two maids with dissatisfaction, the second lady's eyes suddenly lit up. She thought it was wrong. There were no maids in the house. Now the eldest girl bought two, so that they could do all the work in the house, so that she would not have to do the washing and cooking. The second lady swept away her previous dissatisfaction and said with a smile, "Since the eldest young master and the third young master are both copying books, let Luo Gear copy with them." Seeing everyone's surprised expressions, the second madam disagreed. "I thought it was wrong before, but now there are no maids in the house, so it's just right for the eldest daughter to buy two maids. All the meals these days are cooked by the hired maids. Sister-in-law, it's better to resign the mother-in-law, and you can save some money. From now on, let these two maids be responsible for cooking, washing, and cleaning the yard." Ling Chu smiled sarcastically. She was also surprised that the second lady suddenly changed her mind. She was originally waiting here. "Second aunt, did you not hear clearly just now? These two maids are just my maids. They only need to serve me. As for the tasks you just mentioned, it is not their turn to do them." "Girl, you can't say that since these two maids are supported by your eldest brother, second brother, and third brother copying books, how can they be counted as your maids? Besides, there are no servants in the house now. If these two maids don't do the cooking, washing, and cleaning the yard, who will do it?" The second lady spoke plausibly, and the others listened silently without any objection. Ling Chu sneered in his heart. If she agreed to let these two maids do all the work in the house today, she didn't know how she would make further progress in the future. The maid she bought with money was not to serve this large family. "I will take care of my maids myself. As for cooking, washing, and cleaning the yard, the second aunt can buy a few maids and women to do them." Being rebutted by Ling Chu in public, The second lady looked annoyed. "Miss, you only let two maids serve you. Could it be that you don't even care about your wife?" Ling Chu was not annoyed, but said slowly and authentically, "Second aunt, shouldn't it be your daughter-in-law's job to serve grandma? If you just leave it alone, whoever doesn't know, will think that grandma has done something outrageous." The daughters-in-law were so dissatisfied that they ignored their mother-in-law. The second lady was speechless and almost got heartbroken by Ling Chu's words. Ling Chu raised the corners of his lips and continued to speak slowly, "Now there is no income in the house. My eldest brother, second brother, and third brother all know that they have to copy books to support the family. As an elder, the second aunt can't do nothing, right? In the kitchen each of the three houses takes turns doing chores such as cleaning the yard and doing laundry. Although my father, second uncle, and third uncle are no longer officials, they can find ways to do some small business, or find jobs in academies, tea houses, and restaurants. As for the second and third sisters, haven't they all learned to be female celebrities? If you sell some needlework, you can make some money." Ling Chu glanced at the silent crowd and continued, "In the open space in each yard, you can also grow some fruits and vegetables. You can eat them, and you can sell the excess." The second lady's face turned darker and darker as she listened. "Grow fruits and vegetables, how much can you sell for them?" Ling Chu sneered, "Fruits and vegetables are indeed not valuable, but money trees are. Second aunt, why don't you plant more money trees, so that third brother and the others don't have to work hard to copy books to support the family?" The second madam was squeezed, her face looked like a colorful palette. "Ling Chu, dear readers, I don't have any seeds for the money tree. Can you reward me with a few tickets? I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times." Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 65. Chapter 65 Missing. Ling Chu didn't pay attention to the second lady's anger at all. She has no feelings for this family. As for what she said just now, she said it deliberately for everyone to hear. Although the Ling mansion was demoted to the rank of common people and could no longer serve as officials, life would still go on. Her father and her second and third uncles can either engage in business or do accounting work. The eldest brother, the second brother, and the third brother are not young anymore, so they should also take some responsibilities. As for the female relatives in the house, they can make some needlework and help out to some extent. A big family, with hands and feet, as long as they work hard, they will never die of hunger. But if you are still holding on to your ears and can't let go of your figure, then just wait for the northwest wind. Seeing that everyone was silent, Ling Hao sighed, "Grandma, the eldest sister is right. As long as our family works together, we will be able to overcome the current difficulties. We all have skills and feet, and we can always find ways to make money." Mrs. Tai always valued her eldest grandson, and nodded happily after hearing this. "Brother Hao is right. As long as the family works together, the current predicament will be able to be overcome safely. From now on, everyone will take turns doing the work in the house." The matters decided by the Grand Madam never allowed anyone to refute them, so even if the second madam was dissatisfied, she could only endure it. The second girls, Ling Hui and Ling Qing, gathered around the madam with smiles, saying that they would work hard to make more female celebrities, and when they earned money, they would buy maids for the madam and come back to serve her. Coaxed the lady to smile from ear to ear. Ling Chu didn't pay much attention to this, just made an excuse, and took the two maids back to her yard. Lu Xiangju and Xiaji both knelt down and solemnly bowed to Ling Chu, officially treating her as their master. Ling Chu did not refuse. "From now on, you can stay with me with peace of mind. You two are my maids. From now on, you only need to work as servants in my yard. As for other people in the house, don't pay much attention to them." What happened in the flower hall earlier was seen by the two maids. Although I had doubts in my mind, I didn't dare to ask any more questions. Although these two are serving as maids for the first time, they also know that the most important thing in being a servant is loyalty. Servants must abide by whatever the master says. Ling Chu saw the two of them agree and didn't say much. After arranging a place for them to stay, she went back to her room to rest. But not long after, Lu Xiangju came to her anxiously. "Girl, can I ask you for 2 days leave first? When I go back to finish my mother's funeral affairs, I can come back as an errand." Lu Xiangju did not know that Ji Shi was dead, and her ghost was taken away by Ling Chu. Ling Chu didn't intend to let her know. Even though Ji Shi is her mother, she is now a puppet soul. If she gets close to Lu Xiangju and taints her with yin qi, her body and luck will be damaged. Although Gurdjieff loved this daughter, as a mother, she did not want her child to be harmed in the slightest. Ji's family is dead and Lu Xiangju wants to take care of her funeral affairs, so naturally Ling Chu will not stop her. That Lu Dongluo was a gambler who drove Ji to death, but I don't know if he arranged for her funeral. When Ling Chu saw that there was nothing going on around him, he simply asked Xiaji to follow her back to help. "Take these 50 taels back, settle your mother's affairs, and then come back as an errand." Lu Xiangju did not expect that Ling Chu would approve her leave and give her a sum of money. She didn't want Ling Chu's money at first, but thinking that now she was penniless and her father had lost all the money at home, she hesitated, wiped her tears, and took the banknote. "Thank you, girl. I will treat this money as a loan from the girl. But I don't have the money to pay it back. Can it be deducted from the future monthly payment?" "You don't need to pay back this money. It's a memorial gift from me. Just take it with peace of mind." Xiaji originally followed Ling Chu and had been feeling uneasy, but at this moment, her heart suddenly calmed down. The girl is a good person. She not only rescued them from the traffickers, but also took her and Lu Xiangju as maids. Lu Xiangju's mother died, and the girl paid so many tributes to her. She believes that as long as she does her job well and serves the good girl faithfully, the girl will not treat her badly. Ling Chu didn't know that he had been given the good guy card by the maid. After the two maids left, while they had nothing to do in the house, Ling Chu went to bed after eating. After waking up, he continued to eat. After eating, he lay in the yard to bask in the sun. Her body still needs to be replenished with more yang energy. After leaving the house the next day, Ling Chu went to the medical clinic to prepare some health-preserving medicine. After coming out of the hospital, Ling Chu looked at the few hundred taels of silver notes left in his hand and sighed. Out of the 3,000 taels of gratitude given by Prince Jing's mansion and the silver rewarded by the system, she prepared a month's supply of health-preserving medicines, and only had more than 300 taels left. This money is really worthless. It seems that if she wants to continue to live well, she must not only work hard to accumulate merit, but also make more money. After returning home, Ling Chu drank some medicine and was about to take a rest when Xiaji ran back in a panic. "Girl, it's bad, Lu Xiangju is missing." Ling Chu frowned and saw Xiaji holding a chair and breathing heavily. He must have run back without stopping. "Drink some water first and take a rest." Ling Chu did not ask in a hurry, but poured a glass of water for her. Xiaji was running and his mouth was dry. He didn't hesitate when he heard the words. He reached out to take it and drank it in a few sips. Putting down the teacup, Xiaji still looked anxious. "Girl, Lu Xiangju is gone, what should I do? Tell me what's going on, please tell me slowly." Xiaji's expression was anxious and uneasy. "Originally, Xiangju and I were burning paper in the morning hall, but she found that the paper at home was running out, so she planned to go to the street to buy some incense paper and bring back money. But shortly after she walked out of the door, I seemed to hear her scream. I felt something was wrong at the time, but when I went out, I didn't see her. I asked around, and no one saw Lu Xiangju going out, but someone said that they seemed to see a carriage passing by, but they didn't see clearly who was sitting in the carriage. Taking a breath, Xiaoji continued, I was worried that something might happen to Xiangju, so I asked about it at the nearby incense and candle shop, but the shopkeepers all said they had never seen her. Xiangju is gone, have you told her father? Xiaoji shook his head, no, Xiangju's father was not at home. When something happened to Xiangju's mother, the neighbors didn't know. It was only after we invited people to help build the mourning hall that everyone knew that Xiangju's mother was dead. According to the aunts who came to help, Xiangju's father had not been seen for several days. Seeing that nothing could happen after further questioning, Ling Chu had no choice but to go to the Liu family to see for himself. When I arrived at Liu's house, I didn't see Liu Dongluo, only two aunts who were close friends of Ji's family during his lifetime. They couldn't bear to see Liu Xiangju taking care of Ji's funeral alone, so she came over to help. Ling Chu asked around, but no one saw Liu Xiangju. It was the person who saw the carriage passing by. Seeing that Ling Chu was asking carefully, he hesitated before telling her that the carriage passing near Liu's house seemed to be Hu Baxian's carriage. Ling Chu, if we don't reward you with tickets, we will drink the northwest wind. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 66. Ling Chu raised his fingers and counted, then frowned. Hu Baxian wanted to use the Ge family and his daughter to pay off his debt last time, but she stopped him. Unexpectedly, he persisted in his evil intentions. Worried that something might happen to Liu Xiangju's maid, Ling Chu did not hesitate, got on the carriage and went straight to Chang'e gambling house. She was so anxious that the coachman rushed to the gambling house as quickly as possible. Ling Chu got off the carriage, and Xiaoji's maid followed closely. In a place like a gambling house, there is a mixture of fish and dragons. Ling Chu originally wanted the maid to stay in the carriage and wait for her. But Xiaoji disagreed. No master would go to a dangerous place, while the maid stayed in a safe place and waited. Ling Chu was worried that it was too late. Something happened to Liu Xiangju's maid. Seeing Xiaoji's insistence, he didn't try to persuade her. He took Xiaoji to the entrance of the gambling house, but was stopped. At the gate of Chang'e Fang, the two men guarding the gate frowned and said impatiently, "Girl, you must have gone to the wrong place. This is a gambling house, not the place you should be, so hurry up and leave." Ling Chu glanced at them and didn't bother to beat around the bush. "I'm looking for Hu Baxian." The two gatekeepers looked at each other. When they heard that she was looking for Hu Baxian, their attitude softened, but they did not let her in. The gambling house is a place for gambling. If you want to find Brother Hu, just wait outside. Ling Chu frowned and took out a banknote from his sleeve pocket. "I'm not looking for anyone, so I can go in and gamble, right?" The gambling house opens its doors to welcome customers from all over the world. Anyone who comes to gamble is welcome, regardless of whether you are a man or a woman. Ling Chu took out the money directly and made it clear that he wanted to go in and gamble. The two gatekeepers had no reason to stop her, so they stepped aside and welcomed her in with smiles on their faces. Entering the gambling house, not far inside, all kinds of noisy sounds rushed towards me. Chang'e Gambling House is a famous casino in Beijing. At this time, it was crowded with people, all of whom were concentrating around a gambling table. Ling Chu's arrival did not attract anyone's attention. Only the casino steward noticed. Although most of the people who come to the casino are men, there are also women. Some noble ladies from aristocratic families will come to the casino to play a few games when they are bored. But most of those girls came to see the world with their brothers at home. Like this girl who only brought a little maid here, although it cannot be said to be unique, it is not rare. Manager Wu's eyes paused on Ling Chu's face, and he quickly came over with a smile on his face. "Girl, what do you want to play?" When Ling first saw how he was dressed, he guessed he was the manager of the casino. Seeing her looking at him, Steward Wu said with a smile, "I am the steward of Changelfang, my surname is Wu. I don't know what the girl wants to play. If you don't understand, I can introduce it to you." Ling Chu glanced at him and said directly, "I don't gamble. I came here to see Hu Bassian for something." Wu Guanqi originally thought that she was a noble lady from a certain family who came to the gambling house out of curiosity, but unexpectedly he guessed wrong. Hearing that she was looking for Hu Bassian, the smile on her face faded. "Hu Bassian is not in Changelfang. If you want to find someone, please look elsewhere." Ling Chu frowned again. This gambling house was a mixed bag of fish and dragons, and all kinds of smells filled his nose. She has a keen sense of smell, and this is torture for her. She didn't want to stay here any longer. She had calculated before that Hu Bassian was clearly in Changelfang. Could it be that he left before she arrived? Ling Chu glanced at Guanqi Wu and felt that this man seemed to be lying. Since she had doubts, she simply opened the system. After scanning the entire gambling house, Hu Bassian's location was quickly discovered. This Changel gambling house has 3 floors. In addition to the bottom floor, there are 2 floors above. Hu Bassian was in a private room on the 2nd floor at this time. Lu Xiangju was being escorted to her knees by 2 men. On the chair in front of her, a man in his 30s was looking down at her. After finding Lu Xiangju, Ling Chu turned around and walked towards the stairs. Seeing that she wanted to go upstairs, Manager Nao took a few steps quickly and blocked the stairs. "Girl, this is a gambling house, so you can't wander around. If you want to find someone, you'd better go somewhere else." The stairs were blocked, so Ling Chu could only stop and said, "I have something urgent to see Hu Bassian, and I would like to ask Manager Wu to send a message." I said, "Hu Bassian is not in Changelfang. If the girl wants to see him, it is better to go to his house and look for him." "Guanqi Wu, I know Hu Bassian is up there." Manager Wu was surprised. This girl had just arrived. How could she know that Hu Bassian was there? This is probably a scam. Wu Guanqi's face darkened. "Girl, you are not allowed to act recklessly here. I told you that Hu Bassian is not here, so he is not here." Whether she guessed or really knew that Hu Bassian was up there, there was no way he would let the girl go up there. Manager Tao had given instructions earlier that no one was allowed to come up and disturb him. Ling Chu didn't know why the black steward kept preventing her from seeing Hu Bassian, but she had to take Lu Xiangju away today. "Hu Bassian robbed my maid, I must see him today." Manager Wu was stunned. He knew that Hu Bassian had indeed brought a girl over earlier, saying that he had bought it for Manager Tao. Is it possible that the girl is actually the maid in front of you? Or was it stolen? How could a person who was in the hands of Steward Tao be returned? No matter whether he was robbed or bought, after entering Changelfang, he is the person in charge of Tao affairs. This is a gambling house, but there are no maids. I'm afraid the girl has made a mistake. If you want to find a maid, look for it elsewhere. If you dare to cause trouble again, don't blame me for being rude and asking someone to drag you out." With a wave of his hand, Wu Guanqi was immediately surrounded by 7 or 8 powerful men. At this glance, you can tell that he is a thug raised by a gambling house. Ling Chu sighed. She didn't like fighting at all. Why did these people insist on forcing her? When Xiaoji saw so many thugs, she swallowed nervously, quietly tugged on Ling Chu's sleeves, and whispered, "Girl, why don't we go back first, and then find a way to find someone to rescue Xiangju?" Although he was worried about Lu Xiangju, Ling Chu was the master. Xiaoji was worried that something would happen to her in the gambling house, and was so anxious that he wanted to take her away immediately. Ling Chu patted the back of her hand comfortingly, "Don't worry, it's okay." She is not a reckless person if she dares to bring Xiaoji to the casino alone. Fortunately, she had rested enough in the past 2 days and drank some health medicine today. Her body feels okay now. Seeing the thugs coming around, Ling Chu pretended to be scared and wanted to take the maid back. But the moment he turned around, he flipped his wrist and took out the stack of holding charms he had just drawn yesterday. Before the thugs could react, they raised their hands. She threw the stack of holding charms onto the thugs. Wu Guanqi didn't expect that she would take action and was stunned for a moment. Although the thugs saw Ling Chu's movements, they saw that what she threw out seemed to be paper, so they didn't take it seriously. Thinking that the girl was just blocked, she was angry but had no choice but to throw out the papers she was carrying to vent her dissatisfaction. How could these thugs think that what Ling Chu threw out was a talisman? By the time you realize something is wrong, it's already too late. Thanks to 202209140010245208, Cheng. Ca. Blue Melancholy 175, Shui Yuehi, The Bloomers at the Door, 2023-011-3465. CC, 1AU, Yuan Yu, Clara, Verd Andy, Jis Hung, 20230601621658, AAA 897432, 202303061958333531. Add 202305232053162181297668 and other books. Friends support. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 67. Chapter 67. The fox pretends to be the tiger's power. Second update. The thugs, including Wu Guanqi, were all immobilized by Ling Chu's amulet and unable to move. Xiaoji saw the scene in front of her and her eyes widened in surprise. Ling Chu took 2 steps forward and found that she was still standing still, so he had to step back and give her a hand. Xiaoji came back to his senses and hurriedly followed. Those people in the gambling house were so excited about gambling that no one noticed the movement here. Even if some people noticed it, no one paid attention to it. After all, in the eyes of these gamblers, nothing is as important as their gambling money. Wu Guanqi was careless for a moment and was immobilized with a talisman, unable to move. I could only watch helplessly as Ling Chu led the girl to the 2nd floor. Steward Wu complained in his heart that if this girl came in and spoiled Steward Tao's good deeds, he would be skinned and cramped. He is the 3rd manager of Changelfang, and he is not as important as Manager Lu. Now Manager Tao must be even more dissatisfied with him. If Manager Tao accuses his boss of not doing his job well, his status as the 3rd steward may be in jeopardy. Ling Chu didn't know Guanqi Wu was worried, so she took Xiaoji to the 2nd floor. Su Shiji and Wu Guanqi was watching the scene on the 1st floor, and there were so many thugs, so he thought no one would dare to break into the 2nd floor. Those thugs on the 2nd floor were actually watching others gambling. Ling Chu did not hesitate and took Xiaoji straight to Hu Basian's private room. He raised his hand and knocked on the door. Hu Basian's voice soon came from inside. Then there was the sound of footsteps. Following the sound of the door opening, Hu Basian's impatient voice came, "Who is it? I don't know who is so bold as to disturb Tao Guanqi's good deeds. Hey, why is it you?" As soon as the door opened, Hu Basian looked surprised when he saw Ling Chu standing outside. Ling Chu glanced at him and said nothing. "Lift your foot and kick it." Hu Basian was unprepared and was kicked back a few steps by Ling Chu. Ling Chu was very dissatisfied with this kick. It was far from the kick she expected to knock someone down. This body is still too weak and needs to be taken good care of. Hu Basian took a few steps back before steadying himself. With an angry look on his face, he asked, "Miss Ling, why did you kick someone without saying anything?" The people in the private room have naturally noticed the movement here. The man sitting on the Taishi chair turned his head and looked over with a frown. "Lu Xiangju, who was being escorted to her knees on the ground and was feeling uneasy, turned around to see Ling Chu and Xiaji, and was suddenly surprised and happy. "Girl, why are you here?" Ling Chu gave her a comforting look. "You have been brought here, can I not come?" Lu Xiangju did not expect that she would be forcibly brought to the gambling house by Hu Baxian, but Ling Chu came to rescue her in a blink of an eye. His eyes turned red, and tears kept falling down like broken beads. Sitting on the Taishi chair is Tao Chang, the chief steward of Changelfang. Seeing the girl in front of him barging in and interrupting his good deeds, his face suddenly sank. "Whose girl are you from? You dare to break into my gambling house? You are very brave." Tao Cheng was angry. Steward Wu and the gang of thugs below were both useless, but they didn't even stop a little girl and allowed people to come in front of him. When Ling first saw how he was dressed, he guessed that he was the chief steward of Changelfang. "Boss Tao, I don't mean to offend. It's just that Hu Baxian stole my people and brought them to you, so I had to come to you to ask for them," Tao Cheng asked Hu Baxian with a sullen face and an unhappy look on his face. "Why? What's going on?" Hu Baxian had just been kicked by Ling Chu and felt humiliated. Now he was even more annoyed when he heard her words. "Miss Ling, what are you talking about? When did I steal your people?" Seeing Hu Baxian's confident face, Ling Chu almost laughed angrily. He pointed at Lu Xiangju and said, "You have robbed everyone, yet you are still telling lies." Hu Baxian looked surprised. "You mean, this Lu Xiangju is yours?" Ling Chu nodded, "Yes. She is my maid." "Your maid? I bought this Lu Xiangju." Ling Chu frowned. "Did you buy it? Where did you buy it from?" "Lu Dongluo personally sold his daughter to me." Ling Chu sneered, "Impossible. This Hu Baxian is truly a bully and talks nonsense." Lu Dongluo had already sold Lu Xiangju to a group of traffickers like Mr. Yao. After Ji's accident, he disappeared. She didn't even know that Lu Xiangju was rescued by her, so how could she sell her to Hu Baxian? "It's impossible. I didn't lie." Lu Xiangju was indeed sold by her father. Hu Baxian looked angry, fearing that manager Tao would misunderstand that he was not doing things well. With a hand, he took out a piece of paper from his sleeve pocket and said, "This is Lu Xiangju's deed of betrayal. If Miss Ling doesn't believe it, you can confront Lu Dongluo." Ling Chu was stunned. Seeing that Hu Baxian didn't look like he was lying, he couldn't help but reached out and took the piece of paper and read it carefully. After reading 10 lines at a glance, Ling Chu felt his heart go cold. It turned out to be a real sale of one's body. It is not only signed by Lu Dongluo, but also fingerprinted. Seeing that Ling Chu had finished reading, Hu Baxian said angrily, "Well, I didn't lie. I didn't rob this person, he bought it with real money. This Lu Xiangju is good looking. The last time he saw Lu Dongluo, he didn't even pay for it, so he wanted to get his daughter to please manager Tao. It was only Miss Ling who intervened and found all Lu Dongluo's money." Seeing that the commander of the Jinyi guards was supporting her that day, he and steward Lu did not dare to offend Mr. N Aning, so they calmed down. Unexpectedly, just a few days ago, Lu Dongluo came to him personally and said that he wanted to sell his daughter to him. As a bully, he originally didn't want to give money. Most of the people he likes can be obtained without spending any money. But Lu Dongluo said he wanted to return to his hometown in a hurry. If he didn't pay, he would take his daughter away and never return to Beijing again. Hu Baxian wanted to get Lu Xiangju and give it to manager Tao, but he was worried that Lu Dongluo would really take his daughter away and his plan would fail. Hu Baxian didn't want to cause trouble and was eager to please Tao Cheng, so he signed a contract and bought Lu Xiangju. It was only when he took his people to Liu's house to ask for someone, that he discovered that Lu Xiangju was missing. When he couldn't find anyone, he thought Lu Dongluo had tricked him and sold his daughter to him, then secretly took her back to his hometown. Ling Chu frowned as he looked at the date on the contract. Unexpectedly, Lu Dongluo sold Lu Xiangju to Hu Baxian and Li Pingguang on the same day. Knowing that her biological father had sold her twice, Lu Xiangju looked desperate and said, "Girl, please leave me alone and leave." Her father signed the deed of sale, took the money and left. There is no way the girl can save her. If she stays here, if she is bullied by these two villains, she will become a sinner. As soon as the girl left, she would hit her dead and go down to accompany her mother. Ling Chu sighed in her heart. She really didn't expect Lu Dongluo to be worse than that pig or dog. He forced his wife to death, secretly sold his daughter to different people, and then ran away with the money. Ning Chui, I heard that someone wants to use my name to cause trouble. Ling Chu, Lord Ning, can you borrow a tiger skin and pay me in votes? End of this chapter. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 68. Chapter 68 Bloody Disaster, Third Update. Ling Chu took the deed of betrayal in his hand and tore it into pieces. Hu Baxian was stunned for a moment, then became furious. "Miss Ling, what do you mean?" Even Tao Cheng was stunned. He didn't expect that this girl would dare to tear up the bond of sale. "Miss Ling, do you think that this person can become yours if you tear up the contract?" Tao Cheng's voice was cold and cold. No one else could take away the things that went into his mouth. Ling Chu was not afraid of Manager Tao. "There is no need to change, this maid is mine from the beginning." Hu Baxian could no longer hold back his anger. "Miss Ling, what does it mean to be yours? Even if you tear up the bond of sale, it won't change the fact." Although he bowed before Manager Tao, he was not afraid of Miss Ling. After all, she is no longer a noble lady now. Facing Hu Baxian, Ling Chu said coldly, "Although your contract of sale is genuine, everything must be done on a first-come, first-served basis. I bought Lu Xiangju first." Hu Baxian frowned. "When did you buy it?" Ling Chu said slowly, "When? I bought it in front of you and Manager Lu." Hu Baxian blurted out, "It's impossible. Why doesn't he remember when Miss Ling bought someone in front of him and Manager Lu?" "Why, don't remember, it's okay, I don't mind reminding you. The last time you went to the Lu family to collect debts, I helped you find hidden silver. In front of everyone, Shi said that he would take his daughter Lu Xiangju and sell herself to me. Not long after this incident, Hu Baxian still remembered, but, Miss Ling, you didn't buy Ji's mother and daughter that day." Ling Chu glanced at him and said confidently, "Who said I didn't buy it? Before I left that day, I gave Shi 20 taels of silver in front of everyone, and that silver was the price I paid for them." After a pause, Ling Chu said slowly, "Master Ning, the commander of the Jinyi guards, is a witness to this matter." Hu Baxian suddenly felt like he was holding back a fire in his heart that he couldn't spit out or swallow. The suffocation made him extremely uncomfortable. But he couldn't refute Ling Chu's words. That day, she indeed gave Shi 20 taels of silver in front of everyone. Although she did not sign a deed of sale, Shi once knelt down in public and begged Miss Ling to buy them mother and daughter. Ling Chu said that she bought Lu Xiangju first, and no one could refute it. Ling Chu glanced at the furious Hu Baxian, a little worried that he couldn't help but take action. If it was just her, she wouldn't be afraid. But she always had to take care of Lu Xiangju and Xiaji. But it was impossible for her to give up. Not only did he not give up, Ling Chu also decided to pull the tiger skin a little tighter. "To be honest with you too, Lu Dongluo, before selling Lu Xiangju to you, also sold her to a group of human traffickers. However, that group of human traffickers have now all been arrested by Lord Ning and thrown into prison. According to Mr. Ning, the 9 human traffickers were sentenced to exile at the border, or to hanging at the most severe." Although Ling Chu's words were not serious, Hu Baxian could hear the threat in her words. If Lu Dongluo were here right now, Hu Bat would really want to stab him to death. Unexpectedly, I spent the whole day hunting geese, but instead got pecked in the eye by the geese. Even though Hu Ba was in bad weather, he didn't dare to do anything to Ling Chu. It wasn't because he was afraid of Ling Chu. What he was afraid of was Lord Ning, the commander of the Jinyi guards behind her. After listening to the conversation between the two, Tao Cheng's face became even more gloomy. Unexpectedly, this girl actually knew the commander of the Jinyi guards. He did not dare to mess with Master Ning. Let alone him, even the boss behind him has no choice but to give in to the god of killing. But he was really unwilling to let him give up the person he had obtained. Ling Chu glanced at Tao Cheng and Hu Basian and could tell at a glance that they were unwilling to give in. No wonder they were unwilling to do so. This was obviously the person they paid for, but now they learned that they had been cheated. For people like them, losing money is secondary, and being deceived and losing face makes them even more angry. As the saying goes, the king of is easy to mess with, but the devil is difficult to deal with. Ling Chu came here today, he just wanted to take Lu Xiangju away, and he didn't want to offend these two people to death. Guan Tao, I see that your seal is green. Have you been having trouble with things these past few days, and have accidents often happened? Tao Cheng looked at Ling Chu with suspicion. He was sure that this was the first time he met this girl today, but how did she know about him? These past few days, not only had everything gone wrong for him, he was simply unlucky. The day before yesterday, when I was having breakfast, I almost choked to death after eating a steamed bun. At noon, he had dinner with others in a restaurant and had a good meal, but a fish bone stuck in his throat. He was walking on the street in a sedan when the sedan suddenly broke down and he fell out from under the sedan. Although the injury was not serious, it was humiliating. Yesterday, his boss called him over. He originally thought he was going to praise him for doing a good job, but unexpectedly, he was scolded. At night, he was hugging his concubine in Wenkun, and he was enjoying himself when a wild cat suddenly appeared outside the window. Its shrill cry frightened him instantly. Also, when I went out this morning and went down the steps, I was fine, but I slipped and sprained my foot. It's still aching. On the way to the casino in a carriage, the usually docile horse suddenly went crazy and ran rampant in the street. Fortunately, the coachman saw the opportunity and killed the horse immediately. Although no one was killed, several stalls were damaged and he had to pay a sum of money to go out. When the horse ran wildly, his body was hit several times in the carriage, and there were bruises in many places on his body. Tao Cheng didn't know what was going on with him these past few days. He was so unlucky that even when he drank water, his teeth were blocked. Tao Cheng didn't know why he was so unlucky, but Ling Chu did. There was an unlucky man lying on the back of Manager Tao. It would be strange if he could live a happy life. Seeing Tao Cheng's suspicious look, Ling Chu smiled and said, "Manager Tao may not know. I grew up in a Taoist temple and learned a little bit about fortune telling." Tao Cheng said calmly, "It turns out that girl can read faces." But in his heart he disdains how capable he is at such a young age. I just learned a little bit about it and dared to talk nonsense in his face. When Ling Chu saw his expression, he knew he didn't believe it. But this was what she expected. Ling Chu suddenly looked stern and said, "Guanxi Tao, you will suffer a disaster today." As soon as he finished saying this, a boy suddenly ran over from outside the door and said, "Manager Tao, it's not good." The eldest son of the Ministry of War, the Prince of Heping County, got into a fight. Tao Cheng's expression changed, and he hurried out of the private room without caring about the matter in front of him. The eldest son of the Minister of War, Prince Heping, has a distinguished status, so we cannot let those two people get into trouble in the gambling house. Tao Cheng followed the boy to Prince Ping Jun's box. As soon as he stepped in, a dice cup flew towards him. When Tao senses danger, he instinctively wants to run aside. But for some reason, he suddenly found that he couldn't move. He could only watch helplessly as the dice cup flew straight towards his forehead. A banging sound. The dice cup fell to the ground and broke into pieces. Severe pain came, and Tao could have raised his hand to cover his forehead, but his tentacles were sticky. Soon, blood was dripping down his fingers, along his face. It's the last day of June, here comes the third update, asking for votes like crazy. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 69. Chapter 69 The Unlucky Puppet. Guanxi Tao, you will suffer a disaster today. At that moment, Tao Cheng's mind went blank, only the words of Miss Ling just now kept echoing. The boy following Tao Cheng looked stunned. The dice cup that was thrown at him just now was not very fast. With Guanxi Tao's skills, he could have easily dodged it, but I don't understand why he didn't dodge and let the dice cup hit his head and make him bleed. The boy didn't have yin and yang eyes, so he naturally didn't see the unlucky puppet following Tao Cheng. The moment the dice cup flew over, he hugged Tao Cheng so tightly that he couldn't move at all. In the private room, the eldest son of the Minister of War was having a fierce fight with the Prince of Pingjun. He didn't even notice that the dice cup he had just thrown away in anger hit the gambling house manager Tao. The boy glanced at the blood on Tao Cheng's forehead and quickly took out a piece of handkerchief and handed it over. Manager Tao, please use the handkerchief to cover it first. Tao Cheng recovered from his trance, reached for the veil, and blocked the wound. Seeing that the two people in the private room were still fighting, Tao Cheng didn't care about the wound on his forehead and hurriedly stepped forward to persuade them. If an ordinary person dared to hurt Manager Tao, he would beat the person half to death to vent the evil spirit in his heart. But the person who hit him was the eldest son of the Minister of War. Not only did Tao Cheng not dare to get angry, he had to endure the pain and go forward to persuade him with a smile. These two people have a distinguished status. If anything happens to him in his gambling house, Prince Pingjun's mansion and the Minister of War's mansion will definitely make them run away without food. Their boss might push him out to make amends to those two families. Stop fighting, if you have anything to say, please say it, ouch. Tao Cheng stepped forward to persuade with a smile on his face. In his hurry, he didn't notice that a dice that was lying quietly aside suddenly rolled to his feet. His feet slipped and Tao Cheng fell hard to the ground. The Prince of Ping County and the eldest son of the Minister of War were having a fierce fight. Although they saw Manager Tao fall, they were so angry that they didn't pay attention at all. Tao Cheng breathed in and was about to get up from the ground. The Prince of Prince Ping next to him saw the opportunity and kicked towards the eldest son of the Minister of War. No one expected that the eldest son of the Minister of War's mansion would dodge, and the Prince of Pingjun's kick would be a coincidence, kicking Tao Cheng backwards as he was about to get up. Even Prince Pingjun was shocked when he saw the tables and chairs knocked over by Tao Cheng Ping. He clearly wanted to kick the eldest son of the Minister of War, but why did he kick the chief steward of Changelfang instead? Tao Cheng collapsed on the ground, wanting to die. He just came over to break up a fight, but the two people fighting were not injured, but he, the big manager, almost lost his life. Beside Tao Cheng, the unlucky puppet was laughing happily at him. No one knows that the reason why Tao Cheng is so unlucky is precisely because of this unlucky puppet. Tao Cheng was so angry that he almost vomited blood, but he still had to endure the injuries and got up to break up the fight. Finally, the Prince of Ping County and the eldest son of the Minister of War were persuaded to leave and the matter was resolved. Tao Cheng returned to his private room dragging his wounds. Ling Chu was almost shocked when he saw his embarrassment. It seems that the power of that unlucky puppet is really quite big. Although Ling Chu knew that Tao Cheng was entangled by an unlucky puppet, she didn't intend to interfere. With this molded face, it is obvious at first glance that he is not a good person. Miss Ling, you know how to read faces, Do you have any talismans on you to keep you safe? When he returned to the private room and saw that Miss Ling hadn't left yet, Tao Cheng couldn't wait to speak. If it were normal, he would not believe this at all. But the unfortunate experiences he had experienced in the past few days had already made him doubt his life. He was afraid that if he continued like this, his soul would return to the underworld in a few days. Ling Chu looked away from the unfortunate puppet and nodded with a faint smile, yes, yes, but... Seeing her eyes fall on Lu Xiangju with meaning, Tao Cheng instantly understood what she meant. He reluctantly smiled and said, since Miss Ling bought this Lu Xiangju first, I will naturally return it to you. Although Lu Xiangju looks good, she is only good. No matter how nice a girl is, her life is not as important as his. As long as he keeps his life, with his status as the chief manager of Changelfang, what kind of beauty can he not get? Seeing that Steward Tao was finally willing to let him go, Ling Chu took out a talisman from his sleeve pocket and handed it over. This is the peace talisman. Steward Tao should wear it close to his body. Tao Cheng reached out to take it and put it in his arms. Tao Cheng did not fully believe in Ling Chu's abilities. He plans to wear this talisman and go to the Taoist priest of Kongxiu Temple to help him resolve his recent bad luck. Hu Bassian never expected that the person he bought with money would end up losing both his life and money. Even though Tao Chengdu was angry, he spoke. No matter how dissatisfied he was, he did not dare to object. After the matter was resolved, Ling Chu did not stay long and took Lu Xiangju and Xiaji to leave the gambling house. Before he could reach the door, the thug guarding the door ran in a panic. Manager Tao, the commander of the Jin Wei, came to the gambling house with his people. Tao Cheng and Hu Bassian's expressions changed. Why did this murderer suddenly come to Changelfang? Ling Chu paused when he saw the tall figure walking towards him. Why do you feel like you can meet this commander everywhere? Just now, Tao Cheng and Hu Bassian were standing aside and watching after borrowing someone else's name. It was hard for Ling Chu to turn a blind eye to Ning Chui. After quickly brewing his emotions, Ling Chu raised a smile and stepped forward to greet him. Master Ning, what a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet you here. Ning Chui stopped, his eyes paused on her face, and then looked at Tao Cheng who was walking over. Wei Feng followed his gaze and saw the wound on Tao Cheng's forehead. He was surprised and blurted out, Miss Ling, did you beat Tao Cheng? Ling Chu glared at Wei Feng speechlessly. What look in his eyes? Is she that violent? Tao Cheng felt nervous when he saw Mr. Ning and the guards around him staring at him closely. Could it be that the commander came here for Miss Ling? Although he was confused, Tao Cheng didn't dare to ask, so he could only smile and said, No, 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 my injury was not caused by Miss Ling, it was caused by my accidental fall. Ning Chui said nothing, but looked at him steadily for a while, and then looked back. Turning to Ling Chu, he said concisely, let's go. Ling Chu was stunned. This person actually came to see her? Hopeful in his heart, he could see that Ning Chui had already turned around and left the casino, so Ling Chu could only follow him. Tao Cheng and Hu Bassian breathed a sigh of relief when they saw that they were all gone. Unexpectedly, when this of murder came to Changelfang, he actually came to see Miss Ling. I don't know what the relationship between the two is. Tao Cheng felt happy in his heart. Fortunately, he didn't have any thoughts about Miss Ling just now. If he offended the commander of the Jin Wei, he might have died without knowing how. Ling Chu followed Ning Chui out of Changel Square and couldn't help but said, Master Ning came to the gambling house specifically to find me, but is there something wrong? 747,762, Sen, 202303061958333531, 20220816092158169169, 1 A Yan Yu, 854-389, Ladies Savagery, XIN Baby, Sen, Prehistoric Girl. A. 173604, Heartbeat on the left, 2023061599218 GGG1, 854-729, Ujiangzi, 2023060162165 Tianwu Yuiang, UN1, Jisheng, Yuanyu, 20220908085043919, 1605202101000422, winner 1018, Eagle Bear Wolf, ID 123, Ricardo. Ad. 609,325, Bingling, Clara, Joy 792. Thank you all book friends for your monthly votes and recommendation votes. I love you. End of this chapter. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 70. Chapter 70. The face is wrong. Ling Chu murmured in his heart, how could this person know that she was in the gambling house? Come here specifically to look for her. Could it be that he ransacked the house and couldn't find any money, so he came to summon her again? Ning Chui, I stopped and said softly, when I came out to do some business, I happened to hear that you were in Changelfang, so I stopped by to take a look. Wei Feng on the side couldn't help but cursed in his heart when he heard this. Your Excellency was obviously doing business at the Jinyue Yamen. When I heard Jinyue coming out to do business, he accidentally mentioned that he seemed to have seen Miss Ling entering Changelfang, so he hurried over. Your Excellency, your expression changed when you heard that Miss Ling went to the gambling house. This is a strange thing, they adults have always been people who don't change their expressions even if the mountain collapses. If he hadn't known that the Emperor was interested in Miss Ling's ability and told his lords to pay more attention to Miss Ling's safety, he would have almost suspected that their lords were attracted to Miss Ling and that's why he was so nervous. Ning Chui, I didn't know that Wei Feng was slandering him, so he turned around and asked Ling Chu, why did Miss Ling go to a place like Changelfang where everyone is mixed up? My maid was taken to the gambling house by Hu Basian. I couldn't let anything happen to her, so I came to Changelfang to ask for her help. Ning Chui, I didn't expect that she was here to find a maid. The feeling that Miss Ling gave him was that it wouldn't be unusual for her to come to Changelfang to gamble. Ning Chui, I didn't know why he had this idea. He was silent and then said, what happened to Steward Tao's injury? Although Tao Cheng said that he was injured by the fall, Ning Chui, I did not believe it. When mentioning this matter, Ling Chu looked gloating, that Steward Tao met an unlucky man. The Prince of Ping County and the eldest son of the Minister of War were fighting in a gambling house. He went to break up the fight, but was accidentally injured. Ling Chu had no sympathy for Tao Cheng at all. The peace talisman she gave her was actually a scrap of talisman paper she drew. Although it can ensure safety, the effect is mediocre and can only last for 2 days at most. 2 days later, the talisman was just a piece of waste paper. Ning Chui, I was speechless. On the way here, he happened to meet Prince Ping Jun and the eldest young master of the Ministry of War who were leaving Changelfang. There were no injuries on either of them. I didn't expect that Tao Cheng would be beaten so badly when he tried to break up the fight. Looks like really unlucky. Ning Chui and Wei Feng didn't think much about Ling Chu's words, and they had no idea that Tao Cheng was really entangled by the unlucky puppet. Since Master Ning did not come to her to help find money, Ling Chu planned to go back with the 2 maids. Ning Chui, I said, we found some clues about Lu Chengliu. Remembering that Yu Xiaoyu's matter had not yet been resolved, Ling Chu's words of farewell came to his lips and he hurriedly swallowed them back. What did you find? Ning Chui, I said, if Miss Ling is not busy, why not sit in the tea house? They are still standing in front of the gate of Changelfang. There are so many people coming and going here that it is really not suitable for talking. The affairs after Ji's death were not finished yet. Ling Chu sent Lu Xiangju and Xia Ji back to continue with the funeral arrangements. Then he turned around and got into the carriage, intending to go to the tea house to hear what Mr. Ning had found out. Nang Chui I took Ling Chu to Qingyun Street, a tea house called Mingxiu Pavilion. The decoration of this tea house is elegant. After following Nang Chui I to the private room on the second floor and sitting down by the window, Ling Chu discovered that there was an academy not far away opposite. After the waiter served tea, Ling Chu looked away from the window and asked Nang Chui I, "What did you find out about Luqingliu?" Nang Chui I took a sip of tea, put down the cup, and began to talk about the situation discovered by his Jin Yiwei. According to the investigation, Luqingliu was a student from a small county town in Dengzhou Prefecture. He had only a widowed mother in his family. He went to Beijing to study alone 6 months ago. Although his family is not rich, he is a very hard-working and diligent student. His academic performance is pretty good and his temperament is gentle. In the academy, both his master and his classmates spoke well of him. However, the Jin Yiwei who investigated the case did not find out that there was a girl named Yu Ziyu around Luqingliu, but they found that Luqingliu seemed to be dating the sister of a classmate who was from a wealthy family. Originally, my classmate's family wanted to get engaged to Luqingliu, but they heard that Luqingliu accidentally fell and injured his head, so the engagement was put on hold for the time being. The classmate's family is planning to wait until he recovers from his injuries before proposing an engagement. Nang Chui I took a scroll from Wei Feng, opened it and laid it on the table. This is the Luqingliu. Ling Chu glanced at the portrait and twitched his lips. Although this painting is quite clear, it would be difficult to match it with a real person. Nang Chui I also knew that this painting was disliked. His guards in royal robes were doing well in investigating the case, but the painting was really average. Miss Ling is good at painting when you have the opportunity, could you please give me some advice on the painter of our yamen? In order to track down the wanted criminals, the yamen hired a painter to draw portraits of the wanted criminals. But compared to Miss Ling, the artist's painting skills were far behind. Giving advice on painting techniques was not a difficult task. Ling Chu could not refuse, so he could only nod in agreement. Luqingliu is studying at Changfeng Academy. It's almost time for school to end, so we should see him come out. Ling Chu glanced at Changfeng Academy not far away. No wonder Master Ning brought her to the tea house near the academy. It turned out that he wanted her to match the real person with the portrait. The entrance to the academy was quiet at this time, and no one was seen. Those students should still be attending classes inside. Changfeng Academy, Bamboo Study Class. A gentleman with a grey beard was dividing a stack of papers in his hand. This is the paper that was just tested yesterday. The master has finished marking it. The students whose names are called go up to the stage to receive their papers. The master glanced down at the paper in his hand with the second grade written in red pen, raised his head and called out, "Luqingliu." Luqingliu, who was dressed in a blue-gray student uniform, responded and walked respectfully to the master. The master handed the paper over with a pity look in his eyes. Luqingliu noticed his gaze and felt tense. He lowered his head and reached out to take the paper as if nothing had happened. The master looked at his back as he walked back, feeling regretful. This Luqingliu used to be very good at school. He used to get first-class grades in most of his subjects. However, since he broke his brain after a fall, his grades have been far worse than before. Even though my hand was injured, my handwriting is not as good as before. It's a pity. Luqingliu took the paper and walked to his seat. Although the master didn't say anything, the look in his eyes made him feel uncomfortable. The classmate next to him accidentally glanced at his hands holding the paper and frowned. Noticing the strange look in his eyes, Luqingliu looked down and realized that the paper had been torn by his hands due to too much force. His heart skipped a beat, and Luqingliu quickly smoothed the paper. The classmate glanced at the words B and B on his paper, and his doubts were relieved. No wonder the papers were all torn, it turned out that he didn't do well in the exam. Luqingliu tried his best to calm himself down and managed to stay until school was over. He hurriedly packed up his books and prepared to go back. That is Luchengliu Ning Chui. I suddenly pointed at a man at the entrance of the academy and said. Ling Chu looked along his fingers and suddenly said, this person's face is wrong. Ling Chu, do you want to read fortune tellers? No copper coins are needed, just tickets. End of this chapter.